I will give everyone a couple minutes to get in, but once you come in, definitely pop in the chat and just say hi so I know you're here. I'm super excited. Nice. I'm super excited to have you on tonight, Jim, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But this will be a fun episode since it's my last one of this season. You're number 21. It's a good number.
Party time after this one's over, right?
Yeah, exactly.
A little sigh of relief.
Yes. Hey, Whale Shark. Dot pro. Yeah. Fanboys in the house. I know. I just saw your tweet. With I think you said you were doing a drop or something. That's awesome. That's really fun. I don't know what.
With the homies.
You have to let us know in the chat what people have to do in order to get a drop. But that's awesome, Whale Shark. Hey, Easy. Hey, Alan. Night Kitty.
Number 202 right there.
Yes. We'll talk about that one for sure because I love that you have it hanging like perfectly in the view. And thank you for the follow, Scottrepreneur and Baller Basket. And if you just followed NFT Black, I'm not sure if that was from last time, but thank you. Drop. Yeah, easy. Whale Shark, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you tweeted out that you might do a drop, something having to do with this stream. So tell us how people can get in on that. AgroCat, hey. Samsonite, what's up? Nice to see you again. And cool. I'm trying to see my. I'm just gonna pull this up on my other screen because it's being a little weird on my.
For some reason, I thought we were going away for commercial break or something like that. But
no,
we're not doing that.
Yeah, no commercial break. Just seeing on my. It's weird. Normally I have my little stats in the bottom left, but not right now. Yeah, I never know what time zone all of you guys are on, but I'm sure this is probably not a great time zone for everyone. So thank you for being here, all of you. Hey, Lander. Hey,
I think
Mr.
it's
NFT.
like mid-morning to early afternoon for Asia.
Yeah, I thought that night in the U.S. was
like
better.
Maybe like extremely early in the morning for like Europe.
Okay, got it.
It's actually not the worst time. Like maybe an hour or two later would even be better. Like where like it's getting pretty late for the East Coast.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay, looks like, hey, Kaitsa, looks like we have an awesome crew in the chat. Thank you guys for all popping in, saying hi, and always making sure that I'm not worried that I'm not actually streaming live. But yeah, let's get started. I'm super excited to have you on today, Jim. I feel like this was a long time coming, and we always have these like awesome conversations on the phone and on Discord call, but it's nice to be able to have an awesome conversation that everyone can be a part of.
I know. I hope we didn't use up all our awesomeness in our conversation earlier today.
No, absolutely not. We'll just repeat and share and all that stuff. But
yeah.
I want to start off how I met you because it's kind of standing right there in the back. But I went to the CryptoKitties Discord one day, and I was like, hey, who can I talk to figure out if I'm allowed to paint a CryptoKitty in my painting? I want a really cool one. I want the glitter cat. Can I do it, basically? And Devil actually reached out to me and he said, hey, I'll send you a glitter CryptoKitty, and then you're allowed to use it in your artwork for up to, what is it? Up to 100K or something like that a year?
I think it might be even 150K. It's somewhere between 100 and 150.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that is an awesome rule. And then I found out CryptoPunks also had a similar rule. And then you and I started chatting after that. And it was really cool because Devil gifted me this CryptoKitty, and I didn't know anyone in that community really. I gifted him a plot of CryptoVoxels land. So it brought him in, and he started creating this, like, he was the only really, and excuse me for all the people that were early in CV, but like the only really amazing builder at that time. Now obviously we have a handful, and there's a ton of like really awesome stuff putting out. And then you came in also in CV. I don't know if that was like your bridge, but
yeah, no, same time. You came over and you were like, hey, I want to use a cat in my painting.
Yeah.
And I convinced you too to use an autoglyph and one of my autoglyphs as well.
That was so much fun.
And you were my introduction as well to CryptoVoxels. Absolutely. You were the bridge over from the CryptoKitties community to CryptoVoxels. It was actually you. And then via me and Devil and probably a couple of other folks that I'm just forgetting about right now,
brought
really were
like
the
the whole
conduit
Sea
between
King
those two.
movement.
Yeah, Devil to a large extent, right? He was actually
Yeah.
absolutely the advocate for things like that and Joy early on. He's definitely been like a ground lane person who's gone out and found these projects. But in
Yeah.
that case, you deserve the credit. And I wanted to get to know you because you were an amazing artist, and I was looking, to start doing my own projects and finding really great artists as part of that. And um, we talked about doing a commission for me, and I didn't really know at the time that I wasn't supposed to just have you paint me my own crypto kitty. Like Josie could have done some tight shit for that, for
That was a
campaign.
fun one though.
But instead, I just had to do an exact replica. I'm like, no, do it exactly like the picture. You like asked multiple times, and I clarified. Like, I'm like, no creativity here. Just I want it to be exactly like it.
I think it looks pretty spot on. It was a
I
fun
love
one.
it.
It was a
It's
fun one
great.
to make.
It's really great, and it's
And
unique.
it's
It's
Kitty
it's
202.
one. Yeah, Kitty 202, and you have
Okay.
the QR code is there in the corner. Let me unplug from here for a second. The QR code is above your signature here, and that actually leads to the CryptoKitty website, the page for Kitty 202. So if anybody wanted to try it, that's probably close enough.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like you did exactly like what the picture is. It's really amazing. He's so cool.
Yeah,
And
that was
I just
actually
he's been in his package for 2 years. I just hung him up today in honor of this event and everything else. And on the other wall over here, I have this was the day that Avastars launched. It launched 73 days ago, and it's 24 hours and 91 minutes. That's
wow.
Right.
Okay,
2
that's
hours,
cool.
49 minutes. Yeah.
The timer of that's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So that's like stressful but exciting at the same time to see.
Just counts forward forever. So yeah. I got another one for my buddy's wedding, but it got postponed a year, so I don't know if it's going to make it.
Yeah.
I might have to use it for something else.
Yeah. 202 of nearly 2 million kitties, Alan just said. Holy shit, that's crazy. That's super crazy. Yeah, MTV Cribs Crypto. Yes, absolutely.
Not yet. I just bought one of the Hackatiles that was in the Cardiff Festival this week. It was with the mural, that it came with the mural. So I justified buying a $350 mural by buying a $3,000 piece of art.
Yeah.
But that'll be coming next week, and I'll be hanging that up in here. So, and then I also have to get a.
And you got a Hackatao Podmark, didn't you? Podmark.
They haven't finished it quite yet. I mean, last time I think they showed it on a stream, maybe your stream. Mm-hmm. It was like 80% finished or something like that.
Yeah, it looked great.
So, yeah, it's actually my dog. It's Willie. It's his face, and it's got a bunch of stuff that we talked about when they were ideating on it. I already love that Podmark. So Podmark Hod, I think HOD or Hod, however you say it, but it's awesome. The one they have right now on Super Rare, the version 0 3D is really tight too. Like very cool.
Yeah, no, they're doing some amazing things. That stream was really fun to see the behind the art. It was like a true behind the scenes. Like we saw where, they lived most of their life, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it would be hard for me to pick a favorite because you had a lot of good episodes this season, but that was definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, totally. And it was a different experience than some of the others, which was nice.
Thanks. I love how they just didn't talk the whole time either, and it was just like a point of view.
Yeah, the most camera time between the two, the Hackatao duo and then the dog. More of the camera time was for the dog, which was awesome.
Yeah, and I wanted to see their ducks because I have chickens and they have ducks, and we've shared pictures back and forth. But I guess
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have ducks
doing their own thing. That's cool. Thank you for the follow, the real Stella Cat and Bruce the Goose. Okay, so let's get into this. So I know a little bit about your background before you came to NFTs, but maybe you want to share that a little bit more. Like, how did you even discover kitties? Because I feel like for a long time, at least probably because of the initial connection that I had with you and Devil, like I was like, holy shit, these guys have like thousands of CryptoKitties in their wallets. They're crazy. But they've been doing this for a while and they know what the hell they're doing with that whole scene that I didn't know a ton about. But do you
Yep.
want to talk about like how you were first intrigued by them? Like how'd you stumble upon them?
Yeah, I'll tell a slightly like just a little bit elongated and different
Yeah,
version of this
please
for
do.
anybody who's heard it before, so that it's not just like the same shit. Um, so from 2007 to 2013, I started a company and built a company that set up what is now called G Suite for organizations. Both started out really small to set it up for like 1 and 2 person organizations, and then ended up working with like the biggest companies like Netflix and City of Los Angeles and City of Boston and Whirlpool and New York Times and Kaplan and a bunch of others. Like, we were legit. We did a great job. We were a pretty small company when I left in 2013. We were like 30 employees, but we were one of the top five probably people like companies, and we were definitely like the best. We were better than everybody out there. We probably like were peak at the time too for like, anyways, I'm not even just talking shit. Like, it's just a fact. We were. That's how we got like customers like Netflix and stuff like that. Like, other bigger partners failed, and we like just were the best because we knew what we were doing, and we set out to be the best, and we like executed on like our expertise around that and focused tightly on Google products. So anyways, I got out of that in 2013. I didn't really wasn't as exciting to me anymore after 7 years and kind of being underneath of the Google corporate structure, even as a partner. Um, Believe it or not, I went and worked there at Google for a few months afterwards, but realized it wasn't really the path I wanted to keep going down. And I was pretty cocky at the time because, I mean, I was running a really successful business. I was making a lot of money, and I was buying a home in Lake Tahoe. And I figured, I'd figure out a business within like 6 months or a year or something like that. So a couple of years went by, and I had done a lot of work on my house. I worked from home and worked in my yard, and did home improvement
Live the
projects,
life.
and I got a dog. I hadn't had a dog since I'd lived in San Francisco previously. I still had my cat, so it's me and my dog and my cat. I had my friends come out and stay with me for a couple winters and snowboard and ski and stuff. They snowboarded more than I did. I usually was just hanging out at my house, playing like video games and watching movies and shit, being lazy. Um, and then so I was, believe it or not, though, I was like always trying to think of what to do next, like, because I had a successful business, and then here I was just like a bump on a log, like pretty much useless. I had plenty of opportunities in the industry I was in like that industry, but I didn't really have any interest in doing that shit anymore. I wanted to find something new. I wanted to find the next thing, and I just couldn't find it. And it's funny because I was aware of Bitcoin back in the day. I mean, I guess it was probably 2011. I knew about all this stuff. I was in San Francisco. We were in like the tech like bubble that only exists in San Francisco, where about like everything before anybody else does. The apps and everything else are typically available to you. And I even like mined some Bitcoin in my browser. I think it was even like Coinbase.com or some shit before it was actually like Coinbase. It was something like that. Anyways, like I had like 0.2 Bitcoin in a browser at some point. I didn't actually have it. I have no idea what it was. I couldn't figure out how to actually set up a miner. That was as far as I got, was a browser based one on some Google searching, and stuff. I remember like getting the email about the Ethereum ICO, and at the time I was collecting Legos. Like, that was my play. Like, I bought like 30
Oh, so
million
you were a
Legos.
collector previous to digital collectibles. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I collected baseball cards in the late '80s, and like Garbage Pail Kids in the mid '80s, and like even basketball cards and stuff like that in the early '90s. My father, and my brother and my sister, we all collected. My mom's the only one who didn't collect those. My father had a coin collection that his grandfather and him, or that his father and him had built. We had like every penny from like 1904 up to like 2000 or 1982 or something like that. And it was cool because they laid those out on a board, and you could see like there was like 3 years during the World War II where they didn't like use copper. They used like tin or some shit, because
Coins are
copper,
so
whatever
interesting.
metals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like just seeing how the like designs change and stuff. So I've always kind of been. We never did stamps or anything like that, but my family's always like collected some stuff. Never like hoarders, but definitely like collectors. So I mean, yeah, the Legos, I didn't collect them before. I was looking at it as a resale opportunity. I collected them so I could build them because I like to like play with toys still. Like I'm definitely like a kid. And so, when 2017 rolled around, I still hadn't found anything. I decided I needed to go hit the Appalachian Trail. So I did that. This is part of the story I've told before. I hiked for a couple months and about 2.5 months, but around 2 months into it, I was hiking along and someone for the day was hiking near me and they were also through hiking, trying to go all the way. And we were probably like 500-600 miles in, and they made a comment about how they were making money while they were hiking. Like they had like their computers at home mining for them. And I was like, what do you mean? It was like mining Bitcoin. Like I'm mining Bitcoin at home right now. And like, I get X amount and it's worth this amount. And like whatever the price was in like April or May of 2017 is what price the guy told me, which was probably like at least a few $1,000s. Maybe it was like $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000. It was before the big bubble happened. And I set up like a Gemini account that day or something. Because when I went back a few months later, like that was like the day I had set it up. So anyways, when I went home a few months later, started dating a wonderful girl that I met through her business, and we hung out for a few months, and then I ended up moving to Idaho with my mom to help take care of her. She was getting ready to have hip surgery. She had just recovered from cancer. She needed someone to like take care of her, and so I decided to go and do that. And they have cheap electricity in Idaho, where she lives, so it was
So
like
you're,
economically viable.
perfect, yeah,
I had
for
started
mining.
looking into some mining, right? So it was like 7 or 8 cents or something like that per kilowatt hour or something. And so I built my first six card mining rig right before I moved up there, like right before Thanksgiving of 2017. And by the time like December 5th rolled around, the day I bought the first kitty I owned, I had mined enough. I had mined like 0.1 ETH or something like that, So it was like, maybe I'd mined a little bit more than that, but I didn't like really have anything to spend it on. And I was like, this is cool. Like, so, cause I was like, all right, so I got some ETH, like, but what do I do with it? And then like, I'm looking around for things to do with it. Cause like, I'm really good at spending money. And I really am
Aren't we
really
all?
good at it. Like I bought like, I just didn't even do the math. I realized I bought like $5,000 worth of fucking Top Shot cards today. Like just,
It's easier when you're not spending, like when you. Oh, I guess on Top Shot you do see the dollar value. It's.
but you can pay in ETH,
Oh, you can.
so it's
Yeah,
like you only
when
see
you're
it for as
spending
long as you
ETH, it's
need to
like,
see it.
it doesn't seem like when someone says, "Oh, $250," it's like,
One
"Oh,
pack,
two
one
hundred fifty
ETH.
dollars."
One pack,
Yeah,
one ETH.
but when you hear one ETH, it's like, "Oh, okay, one ETH." You know, it's
Yeah,
really different. But
exactly. Yeah. Anyways, like, yeah. So I'm really good at spending money. So anyways, I spent that money. I spent that ETH I had on a CryptoKitty, and I was confused at the time. I didn't really know like what I should be doing, but it seemed like a really cool thing because I was like, wow, there's this thing on the blockchain where I can actually like take these things, two cats, and I can make another cat, and then I can sell that cat. Granted, there's a sunken cost in the breeding fee, but that's cool because that goes towards miners. And then like like that, to me this was like the coolest fucking thing ever because I'm a big gamer as well. I mean, I've spent thousands of dollars on like Dota 2 skins, and like I always buy the premium shit in like the games and stuff, just like the cool skins and everything else. Like I'm used to doing that. Like I'm the type of person that I'm like, man, I wish I could resell these, because you can resell some Dota skins and things like that, but you can't really get that money out of the ecosystem in an easy way. And so I really see the advantage of doing like true ownership and digital assets and game assets and things like that. And I didn't really have like well, I did have actually up until like I was out of high school a really strong background in art. Like I was in advanced art classes and things like that. Like I could have like pursued that, I guess, if I wanted to. I look back at some of the stuff I used to draw when I was in like sixth and seventh and eighth grade, and like I don't think I could draw that stuff today. Like I was pretty good, but I'm not on that level anymore and never will be, because I didn't
you could pick it back up. Don't say
yeah,
never,
I
but
probably won't. Maybe I will one day. If I did,
yeah.
it would be like painting, actually painting and stuff like that. I think like I've got the iPad Pro and I really love Procreate and it's a ton of fun. But I don't ever like feel like I'm gonna commit the amount of time it should take to become a good and
Right.
proficient artist, right? Like it's always just gonna be like a hobby thing for me.
Yeah. So once you got into this world of kitties, which I can like easily see how that can wrap anyone up. Like I remember when kitties launched, I was doing a coding boot camp at Northwestern, and I was already the girl in class that annoyed everyone because I was always telling people about Bitcoin and like how they're dumb for not owning any and like all this stuff. Then kitties came out when I was like showing people how to buy them, and I was like, send me your cat so I can breed it and then I'll send it back. It was just like totally addicting. So I can absolutely see how that happened. But
Yeah.
like, you own a lot of cats, like
Well,
a
I don't own
lot.
a lot relative to some other people, right?
Okay,
Like
in my
a lot of
opinion.
my friends own a lot, but yes, I have thousands of cats, right?
Yeah.
My primary account I use now, I only have like maybe 400 cats or something, but my other account I have like 2,600 cats or something. So
Okay.
I had over 3,000 cats at one point in time. I had a full fancy collection for a long time, up through year 2, and even maybe even beginning into year 3. I still have a lot of the fancies that have come out over the last year. I collect most of
The
them.
fancies are really cool. So
Yeah,
you collected most of your collection within the first year, you'd say, of CK?
yeah. I mean, first 18 months, really. I mean, because I also have like a founder. I believe I still have a diamond. I think I have the last natural like base diamond, meow grain. It's like a virgin Gen 1. And diamonds like initially used to be always like Gen 0 or Gen 1 or whatever, and they changed it up somewhere in the middle. And I really liked it when they were virgin and Gen 1 or Gen 0. Like it just felt like really clean to me. So it was really nice for me to grab that. Um, and I have, of course, this exclusive. And I actually got another one of these because they gave out the rest to the moderators for like the following year. And so I actually have another one of these up on the market. I think it's for like 9 ETH or something like that, which I felt like was a good deal, but obviously it wasn't because no one's bought it in a few months. But 202 is not for sale. This is like my spirit cat. And then the first cat that I bought, I don't remember the exact number for that one, but that one was when my cat ran away or got lost, and she had been gone for a couple of days. I felt like she was gone. So I got a crypto kitty instead, and I was relieved because it's so much easier to take care of a crypto kitty. Like you don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I just got kittens like maybe like 48 hours ago, so it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw crypto and kitty, and Poopy, if you're watching, man, you need to retweet that. I hit you guys up in that tweet because you named your cats crypto and kitty. I
I
mean,
know I've always wanted to name a cat Kitty, and then like crypto is just such a big part of my life, and like the game, like well, the game not necessarily was a huge part, but it totally was my
it's
first
significant
experience
time,
ever with
right?
NFTs,
Yeah.
and like was kind of like the point that like sold NFTs to a lot of people and gaming in general and blockchain, and it's just such an important project and company. I was like, if I'm gonna name one Kitty, I have to name the other one crypto, so I had to do it.
Yep.
But
Well, I call my cat Kitty anyways. Her name's Katniss, but
yeah.
Kitty, and that's what I called my other cat. So you're smart to name one Kitty anyways. It's just good to that way that one's Kitty, and then you'll have to call the other one something else, and they'll both just answer to like Kitty or weird sounds anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's get a little bit deeper. We're going to talk about Avastars and all that stuff, but I want to. AgroCat said, "What other blockchain games have you invested in?" If you want to talk about that.
I've tried a lot of them. I mean, at least as a like token owner, I've if you look at my account, it's jimmy.eth with a 1 instead of an I for J1MMY. Um, I have a lot. I mean, I've tried out a ton. I don't even know like which ones to like mention specifically. I played CSC a little bit. For a while, I owned like Prometheus ship and that, and some other like First Fleet. I've always kept track of Axie Infinity. I own a shard of one of their mystics, or a couple shards from like Nifty Fex or Nifty Five, whatever. Niftex, I think we'll go with. People can't say Infinity, so I'm not gonna like, it's fine. Um, and I don't know. I've tried just about everything. I mean, more recently in the last like 7 or 8 months, other than CryptoKitties, I waned off of that because I was pretty much just doing that for the first like year almost. And then I've definitely got into crypto art. Not only Josie, which I have several things by her, but just super rare and known
And
origin and
Joy.
Maker's Place.
I feel like you were big in
And
Joy.
Joy, yeah, I have a ton of Joy. I have like 8 or 9 Joys right now, or maybe even 10 Joys. So me and Whale Shark have a bunch of Joys. I mean, he's definitely the king of Joy. But yeah, I mean, I have a ton of Iketza. He's my homie. Me and him and Whale Shark, we hang out in Discord together in a little group by ourselves, and talk about how we're gonna rule the world of Nifty Land. Just kidding. We don't actually talk about that. I'm sure people think we do. But yeah, we hang out and shoot the shit, and that's fun. And
Yeah, I feel like you dabble in a little bit of all the different
oh yeah,
games
all
and
the games.
art,
Yeah, I
which
mean,
is
I've really
nice.
tried everything. I wanted to
Yeah,
understand NFTs. So
right.
I want to understand how how people interact with NFTs, why people would want to collect NFTs, what's technically cool about different NFTs and everything else. And quite honestly, like the answer is like I was pretty disappointed in almost all NFTs. I mean, when I looked closely, there's some that are doing it all right. Like Super Rare is not, they're doing it all right, right? Like you could argue they're doing it just fine. Like some like Ethereum devs would really love the way they're doing it because they're like offloading it all onto IPFS instead of like storing like a lot of information on the Ethereum blockchain, right? And like that's like a pretty like legit like cypherpunk way to do it, right? But like that's the thing is like through all this research, and one thing I realized, there was a few revelations I've had during like my explorations of NFT land. One was the assumption that everybody just thought the art was on chain, because when you think you're buying cats on chain, kitties and all that, like people just think it's on chain. It's just what they think. They don't know that like it's a really limited storage space and everything else. Like it's just an inherent assumption. So I formed that like theory of on chainness, right? Whatever you want to call it, where like I just assumed that everybody else assumed it's on chain because I did. But really, I've confirmed that assumption over and over again. Maybe some people really know off the bat that it's not supposed to be, but that it's a like very small percentage of people. So that was one thing that I've realized. And then the other thing I realized that kind of goes along with that is that people who have been developing NFTs by and large up to this point in time, and still are up to this point in time, believe that NFTs are one thing, and the people who are collecting them and want to collect them have a different belief in what they are. And I come from the collector side of things, so I feel like I have that perspective that I'm maybe a bit cocky about at times, because I know and can tell when people just are coming from what I in my opinion is the wrong perspective on things like this. And I know like what we need to build, and even like I get crotchety about shit sometimes. I mean, I think I was upset the other night about a game that I really like, that I won't name today, but that is like not going to have a crypto payment option initially, but like they're going for like broad or a crypto like withdrawal option anyways, but they're going for like broad scale adoption, and like it's really an awesome project and there's a lot of good stuff going on with it. And like at first I'm like hammering them for like this one simple thing, but like bigger picture, like coming out, like I can see where this is going in a lot of ways and what people are going to want and expect. And for me, like there was some urgency around wanting to make sure that while we're still this early, that I laid down some groundwork of things that I feel like are important for collectors, so that we don't have people coming in and then just being disappointed because expectations are not being met. Going back to that original expectation that things are on chain, right? Like that being one fundamental thing. And then two is like people like hear about the blockchain and how it's so cool because it stores like the ownership of this token on the chain. And then if they were to just go look at this thing on like Etherscan, if they were even able to find that, like it's actually like gibberish, right? Like they see an address and they see like a trait hash, or if that, like, or some other stuff, and like that's not really like very like awesome information for a normal user to have. So I wanted to build tokens that like would be both durable and useful to normal users. And like yeah, that's kind of like the premise of where Avastars came from, was like this deep dive into like all these different NFT tokens, and like not meeting the expectations that I was hoping and expecting, but like trying to find inspiration through that journey to like what led to being Avastars.
Yeah, and let's talk about how Avastars is different from these other projects and the fact that it is on chain and what that actually means. Like, give the simplified version of the technology behind it, so everyone can understand, including me.
Okay. Yeah. So uh, s- Avastars are generative, scalable vector graphic file, which is a SVG file instead of like a GIF or MP4, MP3. It's a SVG, which is a fairly new, like last 10 years, last 20 years standard for vector graphics files, which scale infinitely, right? There's like, they're just vector lines, they're points on a plot and lines. They're not actually like based on pixels or anything like that. So, and it's a really like, it's a easy to program file type. It's like a file type. You can write code that creates an SVG file. So we're able to store these layers that make up an Avastar on the blockchain ahead of time on the smart contract. Smart contract owns those layers. And then when Avastar is created, it exists. You can put in that serial number of the Avastar. You can go to the smart contract and go to the render Avastar and put in any serial number of an Avastar that exists. Like right now, all the way up to like 7,700. And it'll kick back the SVG code. It'll assemble the code. It'll assemble that SVG code based on the traits that exist on chain, like because we write the traits on chain, and that kicks out the SVG code. You can also do another one that renders the metadata, and that'll kick out human readable JSON metadata that tells you about the Avastar and tells you, you know, what traits it has and what its rank is and things like that. So that's and so we store the metadata on chain and we store this art on chain, and OpenSea actually like calls on our metadata on chain and pulls that down and then is able to display our metadata directly below the image of the Avastar. Like that information is actually like true and accurate. If they display it, then it's true and accurate because they're not pulling it from our JSON or anything like
Right.
that. Like it's guaranteed because it's on chain, it's immutable. That's what they're pulling down. They haven't been able to pull down the SVG files yet because they actually give us PNG files on their site, and converting from a SVG to a PNG isn't always a straightforward process. There's very few tools out there that actually will change an Avastar correctly into a PNG file. So we take care of that for
Interesting.
people in our API that we serve up. But we hope that one day we're able to like figure out a way to like just have it be natively, like either the SVG is natively supported by marketplaces or the PNG file can be converted easily.
Right, because like you
So
said,
that the
SVG is
information,
something a bit newer, so it might just need
yeah,
room to.
exactly. But the idea is like the Ethereum blockchain is our API. Like you can just go and interact with that and do read functions with that. So you don't even need like an API. You don't have to trust like a third party or even us. Like if like a marketplace just hooks directly into this, then they don't rely on our API or anything.
Right.
Because that's one of my things is that like, you know, a company ceases to exist, we want these tokens to continue to exist. So
Right.
these Avastars will live on no matter if we exist or not, because you can go and just interact with our smart contract and pull down this information, the metadata and the art for each individual Avastar. And it costs 10 ETH at the time to upload all of the art. And if in today's rates, that maybe would have been 40 ETH, but still it was like maybe like 60 or 75 ETH. And we pay this gas. We pay the gas to actually mint the Avastar. People pay gas to pay us, but then we actually pay the gas to mint each Avastar. And we spent like 2 or 3 times. We spent like 7 times that amount, the 10 ETH, on minting just Gen or Series 1 alone. And we've probably spent like close to like 30 or 40 ETH so far on Series 2. So like the amount of gas and storage space spent uploading and saving all of the art for every Avastar ever created is like fractional to what the total cost to actually create each NFT token is ever going to be. So the argument about these being like inefficient and bad for the network, like just minting NFT tokens is way, way more like costly to the network overall than like all of the art that ever will exist for Avastars. So
That's an interesting like idea. Um,
yeah, I didn't realize initially either like how much it
yeah,
was going to cost to mint all these. Like I didn't know. I wouldn't have agreed to pay for all of them if I had
yeah.
known.
Yeah. Oh, and especially recently. I mean, I just minted some assets the other day, and to mint them was $2 each. And then not only that, then when I had accepted people's bid, it was another $2 to accept their bid, and I was like, holy shit, I'm paying $4 per piece in gas.
Yeah, we pay
It's
fast gas
crazy.
for each one too.
Yeah.
So it's
Same.
like 40, 50, 60 ETH or 60 GUI like each
Yeah.
time. It's not
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
We
So
just
that's
implemented a system too where like you can deposit a bunch of ETH at once, and just pay for that once and then mint Avastars at your leisure. So make it even a little easier on y'all. It's still gonna kick us in the ass for the gas, but whatever. Take advantage of it, mint some Avastars.
yeah.
Yeah.
Samsonite asked, would Avastars consider migrating to Flow when up and running?
Who asked that?
Samsonite.
Oh. We won't. Gen 1 will always live on Ethereum blockchain. We could talk a little bit about Gen 2, I guess. That's a good segue. And I will preface what we're about to say, what we're about to talk about. We've been saying, like, I would absolutely love it if we could develop this on Flow. I am not yet sure if Flow is going to be as reliable or popular as Ethereum. Josie's a pretty hardcore Bitcoiner. I'm right now a pretty big Ether.
I love
Ethereum.
ETH as well. Don't say.
I
I
know you
mean,
do. I
I
know you do.
I am. I think they both have amazing. They do different things for me, but I
Yeah.
love. I mean, the community in ETH. I have obviously
Yeah.
ETH because I get payments in ETH.
Yeah.
They are
I'm
just
I'm
totally
here with
different for
Ethereum
me.
because this is where like the NFT community started, and all the peeps that are around all the people in NFT land. Like I'll always hang out with all y'all, no matter what blockchains we're hanging out with. So, but yeah, I'd love to, like, I really love the premise of Flow in a lot of ways. Like Flow has a lot going for it, the way that the resources can own other resources, and how those resources owned by the user can be deleted by the user, so you can destroy tokens. And then there's this concept that Dieter explained one day on the Flow Discord, where they were talking about like your collection as a NFT owner, and like if you conceptualize it as I don't know if he actually described it like this or not, but this is how I remember it. Maybe he did describe it like this, maybe not. But it's like a binder, right? That has all your baseball cards in it. And like at first, just think about this binder as just being a binder that's just like a blue binder and nothing on it inside or out. And like maybe like this binder's in a backpack of mine, so you don't even know I have what I have, right? Like I just have a backpack on. And then I decide I'm going to tell you like I have like a collection of NFTs. So maybe I can expose somehow like on the very like primitive level that I have NFTs. Like I have an account on Flow, right? Maybe that's this signal. And then like from that level, maybe I decide I'm going to put a sticker on the outside of it that tells you about like the Top Shot cards that I have. Like it tells you, I decide I want to tell you how many cards I have. And then the next day, like I decide to put another sticker on there that tells you like how many of each like rarity level I have. That I have like 50 legendary Top Shot cards right now, right? And then like the day after that, I decide I want to tell you like how many number ones I have. So it tells you that I have like 5 of first mint of these cards or something like that. And then like the day after that, I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to show them my whole collection. So now there's like a barcode that you can scan and you can just see every card that I own, right? And then the day after that, I decided I wanted to show like everybody, just skip to the end. I'm just going to show everybody all the NFTs I own because I want to be open about everything, because I'm used to collecting on ETH and I'm hardcore and I don't care and I'm not trying to hide shit, right? Like that range of options is available to an NFT collector on Flow. And Alan, if you're listening, correct me if I'm wrong, confirm if I'm right as far as you understand it. Like I think that's really powerful and cool because it gives the collector like kind of complete control over their collections. And like the card can exist, and like you have like this card and you can show somebody that you have it if you need to. It's like zero knowledge proof NFTs if you want them to be. And I think that's just like really powerful and really neat. And the way that they are architecting and building this blockchain to be around digital assets, I think is the way to be. And so I'd love to build the next version of Avastars on Flow if it makes sense to do that. It's Flow isn't a sure thing yet, and Ethereum's a better, safer bet at the moment. So we just have to see how things develop and how quickly we're at the point that we're actually developing the experience rather than just conceptualizing and building on the art, because the art component is different than what we are currently doing, and that's kind of what I wanted to get excited about and talk to you guys about tonight.
Cool. I don't know enough about it to like chime in and give a ton of feedback, but Alan said sounds about right, and then Poopy Cat said as an account owner, you have total control of your account and what interfaces you decide to implement. Should they be public, get kitty functions? So it sounds like what you said is relatively.
I mean, Jordan just confirmed what I was saying.
Like, yeah. Also,
like, yeah, guys, let me tell you about the functions that are required to hide your kitty.
Also, I wanted to say that Jordan, or Poopy Cat, if that's Jordan, said, fun fact, in December 2017, CK players paid $3.5 million on gas. Sorry,
that's
I had to
crazy.
say that.
Okay, nuts. Like I don't even feel like that anymore. That actually makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah. And also, before we get too deep into this, I want to ask one of Easy's questions, because I've had this thought and I just keep forgetting to tell you, and I'm maybe people have told you this 100 times, I don't know, but Easy said he would love a way to check out in his Avastars queue of just one at a time, because right now you have to delete your entire queue if you want to buy just one at that moment.
Yeah, I think we've heard that feature request. Repeat it again in the channel like tomorrow and tag Cliff in it if he's not listening right now. But we'll definitely work on doing that. I don't know actually though I don't know if the queue made it to the priority list or not today. I'll have to look. We're implementing some features. He's been squashing some bugs. It's definitely something that more people than just you have requested, and it's something we want to have in the long run. I just don't know if we'll have it in like the next couple of weeks. I think you can definitely count on that happening before Series 3.
Cool.
Hey, do you guys want to help me decide like what beer I'm going to drink next?
Yeah, Samsonite said grab me a beer, bud. I don't know about beer, but the crowd will help you.
All right, this one's kind of a pain in the ass to open. I hate these things. Like it's a good novelty when you're like 21 or something or 19, but these are all sours. So we have a sour series, batch number 9, barrel-aged American sour ale brewed with Belaton cherries. I'm probably not saying that right, but I think that's up near you, Josie, somewhere, Michigan or something. It's closer to you than me, I think.
Yeah, I'm not in Michigan, so I wouldn't know, but okay.
Yeah, it is definitely sours, dude. I just had a sour as well. So there's that one. We'll call that one the cherry, the wax cherry. This one is a wild ale with raspberries and cherries. I like cherries too.
Yeah.
So this is like a tropical punch. And then, it said all sours. We have a cactus sour ale brewed with prickly pear.
All right, Ronan Gin says the second one. I was kind of leaning towards that one too.
That's fine.
Tropical.
I can stop there. I had like 12 more to go.
Oh, God.
Just joking. I didn't have that many more, but I did have more.
Is it like, can you just go to the store and pick like one of each and do a like selection kind of
Unfortunately for me, the store that I have found that actually has a good selection of sours here in Boise, there's some breweries that have some decent sours, but they'll have like one or two. And like, I want a selection that I can have here at home. They only sell like singles for the good shit. So I have to buy like individual bottles anyways. Like it can be pretty expensive going to that beer store. I walked out of there with like $350 worth of beer at times.
Yeah, Matt Kane just said cherry, cherry, or cherry.
Yeah, I mean, it's just basically like, yeah, which version
Variety
of cherry?
Pack, different brands, all the same flavor. Sorry for all the beer and sour people I'm offending, but I don't know enough to
that's a testament to the beer store I think I go to that I can get all these like varieties of cherry if I need to. So I do feel a little called out right now. All the ones in the cans are basically like Goses, and I didn't get to the Goses for the most part. Those are all like different ones than cherry for the most part.
But cherry was on your mind, so we had to pick fast.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Gen 2 Avastars, and then I also want to talk about Token Smart and what you guys are doing over there, because I think that will also be fun to talk about.
Sure, and we'll have to talk about Infinity a little bit as well. But Um, yes. So Gen 2, Josie and I have been talking for months about Gen 2, and it's been um, definitely for both of us is we kept reaffirming our commitments there and everything else, just about doing Gen 2 and everything else. And the last time we spoke, the idea was that her and I would get together after Series 2 launched just to finalize the idea of whether or not she's going to be working on Gen 2 and start to plan the direction and path for that. So, like, our meeting on that was earlier today, just because we had this meeting today. So, we had to get it done before this. So, it's just so happened I had a meeting with Leandro from Crypto Motors and Voxel Architects and Pixel Chain directly beforehand, and that's my homie. He's been building stuff for NFT 42 for months now. He did the Token Smart lounges and the amphitheater.
Such a beautiful
And
job. Crazy
yeah,
good, crazy, crazy good places.
he did the NFT 42 headquarters and hubs that he just released for us. That's like amazing. I'm just like in awe of the stuff they've done, and the stuff they've built for Whale Shark has been really incredible as well. And all the other projects that they've worked on. I mean, those guys, Leandro's just like fucking solid, man.
Yeah.
And that's my homie. So him and I were meeting about some other stuff, and a couple of weeks ago, Jin had sent me, we had been talking to Jin, and he had sent me the standard that is coming forth for virtual reality, like 3D avatars, and it's called VRM. And I was talking to Leandro near the end of our conversation, and I was like, hey, man, like, if we wanted to do Gen 2 as 3D, like standard, like using the standard that's coming forth on all these platforms, that it's already like on VR chat, it's already on Mozilla hubs. I think he even said Decentraland already does VRM, even though they don't support custom avatars. Maybe their avatars are VRM standard file type. So I just was like, hey man, like if we wanted to do like Avastars as like these VRM type files, like could we lock you down for however long that would take, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year? And he was just like, yeah man, like let me look into this, but like yes, like I want to do this. And so we started talking about like, could it be generative still? And he was just like, yeah. And I was like, okay, so like you guys could be like kind of like this conduit between like the artists and like the 3D like files, and like we could plug in like Cliff, our developer, in there to like help do like the generative part of the file. And then Josie comes in with like directing the art with all of the amazing artists that in her network that can work with her on this 3D generative avatar project. And then like, yeah, so he was
Talk
like
about
totally on
identities.
board.
Yeah.
And then like, 10 minutes later, you and I met, and I was like, hey, what do you think about like actual avatars, like 3D avatars, like wearing clothes and like full bodied and like no, like the actual avatar. So, and obviously, since we're
I
talking
like that
about it here,
idea.
you were like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's is
And
that's
and
like
just to give yeah, and just to give a little bit of background, when we first chatted before Avastars even had the name Avastars, and we were talking about it, and uh, I was saying to you like, these need to be avatars, like, and you're like, yeah, they will be, just like not yet. We need to like take it step by step. And I was like, yeah, but I really want to see this. I want to see that. I want to see that. And I'm totally
yeah.
like not. I'm not
Yeah,
in
you
the
were like
mindset of
not
like
impressed at all with
MVP.
what I was
No, no,
doing.
no,
You're
no,
just
no.
like,
I
man, just
was.
fucking shitting all over it. You're like,
No, I
they're not
was.
actual avatars, so like, just get lost, man.
No, I was impressed with the on-chain stuff, and I sincerely mean that, especially once I
Yeah,
understood the meaning of that. Because even
yeah,
I mean, I knew, I was like, okay, autoglyphs and CryptoPunks are kind of the only ones, but like knowing, learning about it, and you helped educate me about it, it was just so much different than just that. But anyways, I was talking about, I was like, I want this, and it should have this, it should have that, and then kind of you were like, yes, it will. It's just like you have to like take the steps, and I feel like this step has come so much faster than I ever expected, and I think it's so exciting. It's, I mean,
yeah.
it's
It came so much faster for
ambitious.
me. as well. It is ambitious, right?
Yeah.
Like we're definitely biting off more than we should be trying to chew on right now. Like I really liked the safe and slow approach that we were planning on taking. I've been saying to occasionally to when people ask the questions about where this is going, and I talk about like Avastars being the avatars of the metaverse, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? 3D avatars that work across like any like supported metaverse property. And by the way, we talked to too about like providing if there's a way to do, we can build a conversion tool to convert these to Vox models as well. So this will work in sandbox game as well. It'll obviously be a lot more retro and won't look like nearly as cool, but like we might also like do a voxel version of each and every trait so that like and all the clothing too, so that it works across both, like across the metaverse. Anyways, a lot of work to do behind this, and it is very ambitious, but and it's skipping ahead by a few years of where I thought we needed to be, and it probably is ahead by a couple years of where we need to be. But since it's possible, like to do this potentially now, and the team is kind of in front of us and available to do it and excited to do it, like and we have the opportunity to potentially do it, and like this is where like most of the money from like gen 1 Avastars can end up going, is towards building this better like gen 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that like what we have to do it now, the cat's out of the bag, right? Like this is what we're going for now. We've now aimed higher than we were going to aim for gen 2 by a lot. And this also, like we started talking a little bit more about like what it would look like to like find Avastars in gen 2, right? Because like the scrolling is pretty fun and unique, but we don't want to like take away that element, but we're also adding in like clothing into this now, and like bodies, so it's not just your face anymore. They're 3D.
And that's where
So
like
we're
the replicants really come into play, because you have to,
yeah,
potentially piece together the perfect avatar from different
right.
avatars.
Or like there's a lot of different ways we could potentially do this, right? Like we
Right.
were talking about, like maybe the faces are all generative, like all the traits there, but maybe like you could pay like increasing amounts for like I don't know, there's a lot of different stuff, so it'll be cool to get like as the Avastars community grows, because we're still relatively small. I think we're like 370 people hold Avastars right now. We're in the middle of series 2, we have all the way to series 5 to go. So what we're talking about is at least a year away from now, right? It's probably in all likelihood like 18 months away, before we're actually like launching this completely. So we have a long ways to go. So we have a lot of time to gather feedback and ideas from the community on like what these should look like, what traits we should develop, and everything else. We can like definitely take a ton of feedback from the community and take a lot of burden off of our shoulders and like getting ideas and things like that initially. Um, so a lot of time to work on this and develop this, but like the exciting news is that gen 2 Avastars will be vrm file type, which is the standard emerging standard for avatars in 3D spaces and virtual worlds. And they will be on chain as well. We'll figure out a way to do that, of course, and the metadata will be on chain. And Josie will be directing the art, and she will be working with her amazing artist friends that want to collaborate with her on this project, to deliver traits and things like that, and to deliver the overall vision. So
Yeah.
um, we have no idea what the cap's going to be on any of them or how they're going to be structured. We're going to stick to we're not going to stick to what we have necessarily. We're going to try to understand what the opportunity is for everybody, and figure out a way to design these. And then eventually, the part that we may or may not have in place by that time that's kind of missing right now is the idea of identity attached to your NFT. So hopefully we'll be able to have a different team of people that gets to that before or this launches, maybe shortly after. But it's concurrent. It runs concurrent with it. It's in parallel, as important as the avatars themselves or the identity to go along with it. Right now the way we're handling that is we're registering our identities in each and every metaverse or monoverse rather. Every verse, every experience, every platform, we register our names, and we try to race to get our names and You know, I have Jim some places, I have Jimmy with a one other places, I have some other weird name that's not even like my name other places. I have multiple identities on some platforms. Crypto voxels, I have like 10 names I can go by, and across 2 different accounts, and you can move those. Crypto voxels is cool because crypto voxels actually has NFTs you can move in between the accounts. The
Yeah.
only limitation with them is that it's just closed within their platform. I guess other platforms could leverage that if they wanted to, and maybe should. And maybe that's a basis that we should look at as we're looking at identity. Um, but that's generally the idea, is that we should be able to take this any in my I think my general idea of it, and I have to give some credit to Alan Falcon as well, because Alan Carr, him and I occasionally talk about the idea of like personas, or pseudonyms, like on online, that like you can have multiple like personas, and like you can build up reputation and things like that on any of them, and these can be moved between accounts. So you don't have to have it on one wallet necessarily. You could take your identity with you no matter what wallet you're on. And you could even like trade it or sell it potentially. If you were on Flow blockchain, you could destroy it. You could build up like a great identity and destroy it, or you could build up a horrible identity and decide to toss that out the window. And people should be wary of anonymous new accounts and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, eventually I want to get to that. So that's the part, that the component we may or may not have in place by the time we have these 3D avatars. But I mean, I guess the first step is just getting platforms to support like these standard file types, and allowing us to bring like our own avatars into these 3D experiences. So
Yeah,
that's where we're going,
absolutely.
sooner than we were planning on initially, but it's absolutely where we want to go. So we're going to make it happen.
I had a couple comments come up. Um, Alan said daily replicants would be awesome, so you can dress for the day or wear a new outfit, depending on what you're going to, what event you're going to. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, the clothing like definitely won't be like permanent. Like you can change clothes on your Avastar Gen 2. Like
Yeah.
it'll come with some clothes, but then you can change clothes. I mean, I'm making early promises, but this shit's gonna be like legit. So
Yeah, and then we had another really good and important question. Trippy Yogi said, "Would the earlier seasons retroactively become 3D?"
um, maybe, but like that's not like they right now. Let's just call Gen 1 standalone. They will have the same identity benefits that I was just talking about, but I can't say for sure that we're going to focus our efforts on making like Gen 1 traits compatible in 3D worlds. Josie's coming into this with a fresh look on the traits and the art and everything about it. So our focus is going to be on creating Generation 2. It's not to say that we can't take those SVG files and figure out a way to make that shit 3D. It probably won't look nearly as good as Gen 2, which is going to be designed natively for 3D. But it's entirely possible that we could run a script or something like that. But I don't want to make that promise. Gen 1 are the first on-chain SVG generative assets. I mean, they have so many cool things about them by themselves, and they will benefit from any identity solutions that we develop, because they'll be developed for all NFTs, not just for Avastars. Um, so potentially, and man, any third party can go and make this. Like if they want to like make Avastars like be 3D, they can use the traits that we use to make replicants to like create a 3D asset that's like an authentic Avastar that uses Avastar traits in order to create it. So that's like a good decentralized part of Avastars. And like it, while I tend to prefer first party stuff for most of the experiences, like CryptoKitties and things like that, like Kitty Helper is a better resource for kitty stuff and information than the CryptoKitties website. And like maybe one day, like someone will have a way to like convert Avastars into like Avastars Gen 1 into like sandbox characters. And they'll take the time to write the 650 traits that exist into pixelized traits for sandbox. And then they'll say, here, come and spend your Avastar traits and pay me this much. And I'll make you a sandbox game like avatar that has Avastar Gen 1 traits that you own. Like that's possible to do, along with a lot of other options and opportunities. So like I fucking would rather if someone did that than if we created the Gen 1 stuff, to be honest with you. I'd rather see Avastars be popular enough that people want to create that sort of thing. Whether or not that'll happen or not, I don't know, but the possibility exists. We built it that way.
Yeah. And there's always like, I mean, obviously this is a new project, and I think there's always room for um, people to, you know, throw ideas out there and kind of talk to the team. That's kind of the nice thing about this NFT space, and see what's possible, and just kind of like shoot ideas around. I think someone in the chat earlier, I can't find it. They're like, "Oh, you've opened up the floodgates on like all the ideas I'm gonna have for Gen 2." But I think that's what's so nice about this community is you can continue to iterate on things, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, when I first started talking about this idea, it was one thing, and it grew and grew and grew into something much better because of the conversations that I had. And many of those people were my advisors, or even with you, like early conversations about the concepts and everything else that helped me develop the idea. And then at a certain point, like I remember someone saying that like the innovation that we were going to do with the on-chain art was like cool enough that it deserved to have like actually good art. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll go get like really good artists to do this, right? And like I found Marmota and Milky, and they were really amazing artists. And then Cliff helped like make the idea better through a couple different like suggestions. Like it maybe increased the amount of traits that I had by twice as much, but like it ended up being a pretty cool and like complex like design that we came up with for like our traits. And so I really like how that turned out. And then I was degenning on, someone was asking earlier about like what projects and things like games I played. Like Clovers was one that I played for a
Yep.
couple days briefly because you know it was all about
I
finding these
have those in my
clovers.
wallet.
Yeah, you scroll through and try to find these clovers. That came along at the perfect time because we had like the ability to scroll through Avastars on the back end of what we were building to just see how the traits looked together as we were getting traits delivered every week, because we started to get on a weekly delivery schedule for the traits. We'd get like 30 traits a week. And so we were scrolling through those, and then like I'm scrolling through clovers, and then I'm scrolling through Avastars, and I'm scrolling through clovers, and I was like, hang on a second,
There's something to
this
this
is cool, and
scrolling.
I'm having fun doing this, and I think people would have fun doing this. So like the idea got better there because they were just going to be generative, like you pay and you get a random kicked out, right? Because that's how
Mm-hmm.
like we were just going to do everything on chain, right? Like that's the trade-off. At one point I made the decision that we didn't have to be a 100% like native blockchain project, that there was going to be some centralized shit because it's cooler and more fun to scroll than it is just to pay and to get some shit you don't want. Like, and then that was the epiphany, is that like every Avastar should be something someone wanted, like
Mm-hmm.
regardless of why they wanted it. Like they should never feel like they have to create this Avastar unless they wanted it, like, you know. So, or unless there's like some sort of economic reward, like the bounties that we were running. So, and by the way, those bounties are going to a really cool project. We'll be announcing it hopefully by the end of series 2. You know, I don't know that we'll announce it beforehand, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be hype. So they went to a good cause, and I really appreciate our community working so hard to find all those. We have one left to go. You have to find a legendary ranking uh, female with cyborg nose and a queen's crown.
Hmm.
And if you find that, it costs 1.12 ETH to mint, and then we will pay you an additional 1.12 ETH for it. So we'll
Wow.
pay 2.24 ETH for that.
Okay, that's
Or
pretty
I think
cool.
we're offering like 2,500 whale if you find that one instead of the ETH. If you wanted to get whale instead, I think that's the largest like bounty that's been offered for in whale. Uh, yeah, so that's like, it's been a huge success. We've given out a ton of whale for those bounties as well. A lot of users opted, a lot of the bounty hunters have opted to get paid in whale instead of in ETH. So it's really been a fun project for spreading the love there, and for really collecting these like cool Avastars that we need for a project. So some of them will give away to the community, and others are going towards the secret project that we'll announce in a few weeks.
Cool. That sounds awesome. I'm excited to see that. Um, oh, missed out on the bounty so far. Were you scrolling from easy? Were you trying to find the ones in the bounty, or you just missed out that they were happening? Let us know. Um, cool. So if you guys have more questions about Avastars, feel free and drop them in the chat. Do you want to talk a little bit about Token Smart and what is going on there?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to transition there right now, but I definitely want to talk about Token Smart as well. Or actually, you know
Yeah,
what? Should
no,
we
I
talk
think we're good.
about Infinity
What?
first?
Yeah,
Up to you.
maybe that would be good. Yeah, maybe that
Okay.
would be good. So, Nate Alex, many of you may know Nate Alex. He has been working with us the last couple of months developing Infinity, and we did the alpha launch maybe a month ago, maybe a little more, maybe just a month ago, and had 10 amazing artists that did a launch on that platform. I ended up buying Giant Swans and Hackatow's pieces that were minted there, to a bit of a controversy, but whatever, fuck people. I own that shit. Um, and I do. I own them. I own those two things. And if you want to buy them, then good luck getting them from me. For less than I paid for them, because they're worth more. That's the
All
bottom
right.
line. No
You heard it
wash
here.
trading or anything. That money went to the artists. They got that money, not me, not my platform. I didn't get any bit of that. I just paid to create that platform, and then I paid for the tokens that were created on the platform because I support the artists that supported the platform that I created.
So yes,
So
just a little bit of background for people that don't know. I don't know all the details. I'm going to give a small
I was
summary.
leaving shit out intentionally. Just leave mystery behind it.
I'm going to give a little bit of info, and it's just what I know.
I
You
scroll a
guys
lot.
created an awesome platform, and you guys right now don't have any fees for artists and creators that are coming on to mint their work. So when you guys had your first launch and some amazing artworks came out, you decided to bid on the pieces and ended up owning them. Either you or Nate, I don't remember who.
Nate
And
initially, it's like, yeah, but yeah, keep going. You're
yeah,
getting it
and
right.
there was a little bit of a controversy because it seemed like okay, they're the platform owners and they just bid this up and it's their platform. So what I will say is, I think from you know it does look sketchy. It totally looks sketchy, Jim. You can't deny that. But
At first
yes,
glance.
but knowing the background that the artist gets everything makes it totally different. But at the same time, even knowing that background, I think that it is also so important. And I hope maybe you guys and other people in that situation learned from it. It is so important to be transparent and just being like, hey, I'm going to participate in this as well. Here's
Yeah,
why the
that was
artists
my
get
problem.
everything.
That was our problem, not calling that out ahead of time. And part of that, like part of the cause of that is that I had gone through such extensive efforts with the Avastars community, telling them and asking them if it was okay if I could participate and buy Avastars, and they had like resoundingly supported my desire to do so and
Right.
encouraged me to degen my own shit.
Because they totally they knew up front. They're like, okay, wait, this is awesome. Why not? You know?
Yeah, why wouldn't a founder want to collect his own stuff and like spend his money on his own thing that he could be collecting from other people instead? Like I'm literally foregoing income in order to collect my own shit. So like I just didn't think there was going to be a problem at all since I got that sort of feedback from the community, but I discounted the fact that there was a different audience that
Yep.
I was connecting with Infinity, right?
And you hadn't
And that
shown all your
Nate and I were bidding
cards in the
against each other,
beginning.
right? Like that's
Right.
the thing, is that like people don't understand. Like, yeah, Nate and I are actually tight, right? Like we're not like best friends, but like we talk most days, obviously, about projects. We're in similar groups and things like that, different discords and whatnot. We come across each other quite a bit, but we don't collude on like what we're going to pay for things. I mean, it would be silly to say that like the friendship doesn't come into play at a certain point. If anything, like it means that I was probably going to let it go cheaper than I would against somebody I didn't know. So like at no point were we like bidding the price up to get like a high sale. Like you have to understand that like we have seen through the time that we've been in this, the biggest sales happen, including the First Supper, which you were involved in, Josie. I mean, even just your layer alone sold for what, like 53 ETH or something like that?
No, less than that. I
Okay,
don't
30
exactly
something.
remember
But then like
what the amount
Coldly
was.
sold for like 50 something. And the primary layer itself sold for over 100 ETH, didn't it? Wasn't it like maybe
Yeah.
even 200
I
ETH?
think altogether it sold for something like USD value of like $23,000 or something.
Right. And so what we're talking about was that Nate and I had bid up to the point where this was brought up, had bid up to 10.3 ETH on this first ever 3D NFT, which, by the way, congrats to Super Rare on launching like 3D NFTs. That's amazing. That's awesome. For all I know, they've been working on it for months and we just like happened to like beat them to the market. But like, it's so cool to see people doing the things that we've done, like with that and AR Weave and everything else. Like, that's why we're doing this. We want, please, people start copying the on-chain art shit, man. Like, copy Avastars. Like, it's cool that other people are copying this other stuff, but like,
Yeah.
let's get some like really
No,
good NFT
totally.
tokens.
I think
But
it
anyways,
was doing the right thing.
so perspective is like, we were talking about $2,000 and like maybe like I think Nate and I both afterwards talked about it and we were probably both willing to go like up to like we were gonna make the other person pay like probably like 18 ETH or so before we let it go because we knew we would pay at least that much for it ourselves. That's probably where the like consensus would lay, but we hadn't discussed that ahead of time. So like 18 ETH is like maybe $4,000 if that, and like that's nothing compared to these other sales. So like what headline, what publicity are we going after exactly by like selling something for a few $1,000s? Like I paid Josie like more than 10 ETH for that, I mean, and that was like 18 months ago or like a year, 14 months ago or something like that. So anyways, like that's the thing that like, yeah, initially like it looks weird. The two founders are bidding against each other. But then when it's like, why is there something wrong with that when we're not getting anything from it? Like we're not getting any money from it or anything like that. They're like, well,
Yeah.
it's the promotional aspect of it.
And
And it's like, well, like
regardless, yeah, regardless,
what
it's
promotional aspect?
yeah, it's always, and I've learned this lesson as well, and I think it was an important lesson to be had. Um, and I hope you guys took it from that situation. Transparency is
Yeah, like I
always
said,
key,
our
even when
fault.
the intention is there. And I actually had that experience with launching on Nifty Gateway. Normally, everyone that collects my art knows that I do things in a reservation style. First come, first served. When you respond to my newsletter, anyone, you don't have to own anything from me, and you can respond first, and you can get the opportunity to purchase something. So taking that same model into Nifty Gateway totally turned out to be a disaster because it wasn't explained properly and people felt like they got burned. And
I mean,
it
I was on that list, so I didn't get burned.
but people did. And so it feels really shitty, and it doesn't only feel
It
shitty for
does. I
them, it
know.
feels
I
super
didn't think it
shitty
was
for
going to last,
me.
and I
Yeah, because
applauded it. I
I
applauded
didn't
it when they made the
realize.
decision to get rid of that. Right? Like I
Yeah.
knew it wasn't going to last, and as soon as like Duncan said something to me about it, because I think he was like hesitating to say something to the people on the list, I was just like, dude, this is the right decision.
Right,
So
totally. So and we'll stop this conversation there, but just with that said, with anyone making projects and doing this kind of stuff, it's always best, even if like it's best to overtell the story and to be overly transparent, in my opinion at least, than think. But I never thought anything was wrong. Oh, of course, people can reserve. They always do that. It makes sense. But like being transparent about that, there will only be this many on the market, not actually the full run, or that you guys will be bidding or whatever it is, always just makes things go over more smoothly. And I think that situation could have been totally different with that, and flipped into something that was a bit more positive. But it's a learning lesson, and I don't necessarily think either side was right or wrong, because I think there were both sides that like didn't necessarily handle it in the best way, and I'm also guilty of that in my own
I think it was totally fair to have an
processes.
initial like reaction to it, and then like Mr. NFT, like when we eventually were able to have a meeting of the minds, like I think he understood exactly what was going on as well, and was like, hey, like I think it's okay, and I think he even was just saying that here in chat. I didn't read the whole thing, but
Yeah, and Mr.
some
NFT is
people
an
decided
awesome
not to
guy.
listen to like the facts behind it all and decided to perpetuate the idea that we were doing some sort of wash trading or something like that, because Nate ended up returning the NFT to Giant Swan and getting a refund. And people think that it's so important what those weekly stats are in OpenSea. I mean, I even get caught up in that stuff because it's fun to see it, but like that shit really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter enough to like risk reputations and things like that. I would have done it on a fake account like that I sent money through Coinbase first before sending it to, like, I know how to do
Anyways,
all this stuff.
let's not teach people how to do all that. That wasn't the
Okay, I mean,
intention
but if you
with
don't know how to
bringing
do
up.
that stuff,
Yeah, I
then
know, I
like,
know.
you know,
That wasn't the intention of bringing up this project. There are some really amazing things that you guys are doing that other projects have adopted as well, or other projects we're already working on, and kind of like gave them the kick in the butt to kind of continue doing that, which I think is amazing.
hmm
And I think the more and more that we can get this work to live in multiple places and make it live longer and eventually hopefully forever, is
yep.
the right way, because
Yeah, and sorry, so like we got way sidetracked. Infinity, like we're storing the stuff on ARWeave blockchain, and we're also storing it on IPFS, so it's redundant storage on two. Like one is a blockchain, the other one right now is like distributed network. I think Filecoin's coming out really soon too, for what it's worth, which is like the IPFS team has been building a blockchain. We're launching. We did the alpha launch, which we were just talking about, like some of the stuff surrounding that sale, some of the sales around that. But next week, on the 8th, I think it is, Infinity is launching the public minting platform where anybody will be able to come and create their own smart contracts to mint on-chain NFTs. So 3D file support. I believe we'll have the MP3 support as well. MP4 support already exists. Really, you can upload anything. I don't know if it's really restricted. I mean, you can upload any file type, but we're not going to be able to show any file type on our site. So I'm not sure if Nate's going to turn off the ability to upload the ones that we can't show or not. We really want to be able to support users to have their tokens show up on OpenSea as well. When you have an OpenSea storefront, you use their minting platform, unabashedly, like we would love to eventually to have you and Joy and any other artists that are currently using OpenSea to move over to something like Infinity or an equivalently durable platform that has the stuff stored redundantly and safely and on-chain and in a way that users can interact with and see kind of everything we've been talking about tonight. So that's what we're building in Infinity. And so that launches next week. The inaugural alpha contract already exists with the 10 pieces, but it'll be open for anybody to mint on as of next
it's
week.
exciting. That'll be a fun one.
Yep.
Yeah, Ethan Crypto
Prepare
said
for the
he's going
shilling
to
to begin, Josie.
All right, I'm preparing.
How long is it going to take? That's the bet, is how long will it take to get Josie to move like some of her stuff over to Infinity? Like that's the bet we should all make.
All right, someone start a bet and we'll see. No insider information. Don't DM me about it. Going to be stoked. Easy and Crypto said going to be stoked to mint on on Infinity. Samsonite, nice. Yeah, looking forward to that. Well done. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to Samsonite. I got 21 Bitcoin on it. All right, well, what's your projection? What do you think?
Josie, let's just split it.
Hell no, you're not a Bitcoin guy, right?
Oh, that's true. No, I'm not. I'm not. I was talking shit about Bitcoin on one of your recent streams. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I know.
Yeah,
you're always talking shit about something. It has to be something, Jim. All right, can we? If they can be viewed on OpenSea, they can be viewed on Collector's Hub too. Drag and drop arrangements for sub collections and full screen viewing. Yeah, collector hubs. Have you seen collector hubs?
I don't think I've seen that yet. Easy, you'll have to send me a link to that.
Yeah,
so
I think that'll be very cool.
Sounds
it's launching really soon. Okay, awesome.
Cool.
So
make sure you support Avastars, and if you want like some deeper support than we provide already, that maybe we can give you a different API that gives you richer information. You can have an advantage over OpenSea.
Okay, sounds good. So I want to talk a little bit about. Oh, and by the way, if after this you want to put the links to Avastars, to Infinity, to TokenSmart in my Discord, feel free, so people can like join those communities as well. But yeah, I do want to talk about TokenSmart because I think it's interesting and it is just so community driven, and you guys have been doing some really cool stuff over there. So if you want to talk a little bit about that as well, you have your hands in a lot of things, Jim.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm done yet, but the stuff that I'm working on seems like significant and fun and entertaining, and I'm really honored to have the opportunities to work on all these things. And for TokenSmart, You know, I don't deserve nearly as much credit as the other guys. I think that I initially was running with the idea with Matt and Rizzle, Matt from Scent and Rizzle from NFT 42 and now Token Smart. We all connected around ETH New York, ETH NYC, or no, NFT NYC.
Yep.
I mean, I saw you there as well. Really connected with a bunch of people, Katie from Dapper Labs and Allegra and just a bunch of people. It was really a great event. So got to meet Rizzle and Matthew there, and they were there to see me go off on an epic rant about the Nike shoe patent, about how easily it would be invalidated if anyways, they ended up really liking that I was real willing to put myself out there and connected with Rizzle in a really cool way. And like, just like, I don't know, man, like that dude just thinks like I do. We think alike, and like, we even use a lot of the same idioms and stuff like that. So, he's just my homie. Like, he was like my instant homie, like best friend. I'd love to like just go drinking with that dude. And same thing with Matt. Like, Matt's just like this incredible dude that just like gives off this like really great energy, and like I respect the shit out of that guy. Like the first time I met him, right? Like there's just something very respectable about that.
He has a
So
respectable voice too, which is so weird to say, but he's just
yeah,
like,
very
you're like,
commanding and like
yeah, but you like
soothingly
trust
commanding
him.
voice.
Like, trust
Yes.
him
Oh
based on his
yeah.
voice.
Like
What a weird thing.
absolutely. Um so anyways, like those dudes were just really great. And what I saw was an opportunity where I was going to Matt's Whips, in like February or something like that. Um, and like, I don't know, like I just saw an opportunity to like maybe provide a cooler place to start doing that. And then at the same time, Rizzle was like, "Hey man, like I should work for you. And I like can take all of this like stuff off of your plate and you can work on building this stuff and I can build this stuff." And so like kind of at the same time like that I was like building this spot, like having Leandro build like the amphitheater, like Rizzle started working for NFT 42 and taking on the Token Smart brand. It had started off as like a Discord server and that sort of thing, and like in that sense then it started to evolve into like this virtual meetup sort of thing that like was coordinating with the whip. So really, like as soon as like Rizzle started working for me, like his primary thing, other than helping me promote Avastars, has been building out Token Smart. So, um, that's been a journey that him and Matt and Easy and Dragon Nate and Trippy Yogi and Paradox and probably forgetting some other keepers, like and like people that have just like shown up all the time, like regular people to be on the show and stuff like that. I mean, Black Box Art, Sparrow, like she's been on there a ton. Josie, you've always been like a proponent of it early on and we're meeting with us. Trislet, I was forgetting about Trislet. Like Trislet's a huge part of all of it. Like that's my homie as well from NFT NYC. Like I hung out with him more than anybody else there. Like him and I met during the day, both days, and like just hung out. So like all those guys have just been working like every week and like getting these guests on. Like Matt does all the background work to get all the guests on and prepares and sets up and coordinates all that. And then like No Shot helped create the background that we use every week and the stage, and helped. I think he finally was able to teach Rizzle how to put that up, unless Rizzle just figured out somebody else to do it for him, because like that's one of both mine and Rizzle's talents is we call it fence painting, because I guess we both read Tom Sawyer, and then Tom Sawyer gets like his neighbors to paint the fence,
Just
but like
delegate,
he's
delegate,
assigned
delegate.
to doing it right, and he's like convinces his neighbors that it's fun to paint the fence. Look how fun it is to paint the fence, and then Tom Sawyer doesn't have to paint the fence. So anyways, we get a lot of people to paint fences, and like we try to reward people for painting the fence. That's the difference between us and Tom Sawyer. But it's been an amazing journey, and it's like I've missed like 3 of them over the last like 3 months or so, and I feel like I've like legit like missed out on significant things. I was able to watch
Totally.
the one from last week. I was moving into this place last week when this was going on, so I missed the whale shark special. That was like amazing. It was really long too. I mean, I couldn't believe how long it was today when I was listening to it for like 2.5 hours or something here in front of my computer. But I listened to all of it, even including like the after party. But it was really just solid event, right? Like what started as like this thing where like people are hanging out in like space over top of like a CryptoVoxels like location randomly each week and typing in chat about what they were working on. It's turned into like this actual unique event that Matt and Rizzle and the others have sculpted, and Trislet and the others have sculpted into being this really amazing thing. And then they also do the weekly podcast, which I started out doing, and then I got booted and replaced by Matt. So
He has a better voice. Sorry, Jim.
I know, I can't help it. It's fine. I really enjoy listening to that. I was able to catch up on the most recent one of those yesterday, and like they do a podcast every week as well about like the meetup and virtual space and like what we're doing to experiment around all this and how it's going. And I don't know, man. Like I love this stuff, and I'm really like happy that we have an opportunity to like participate in it, and that like Matt has worked with us to like develop this initial idea into something that's like really awesome. And now like instead of like just like we now have people actually like paying to like have these events put on for them, and like it's starting to become an equitable thing. And there is a definite model of these events like developing around like how a VR event should look. And we're definitely talking about the Token Smart virtual conference, since it seems like it's going to be a fucking while before we can do a real in life conference. And so we're talking about doing something that's like a little bigger in scale than just like the whip, actually doing like a multi-day virtual conference. So that is something that
where
I
you
think
can
will
wear your Gen
probably
2 avatars.
I think the event will be before we have those. I
Yeah, I
think
know.
like
I'm
the
just
event,
kidding.
we might have real life event before we have Gen 2
Yeah,
Avastars.
yeah.
So, you know,
Just
it's going to be
for
a
the
minute.
future. For the future.
It's going to be a minute. Yeah. Yeah. Um, but you know, just on that tip, like I would say that like anybody who supports Gen 1, like we'll find a way to reward them for Gen 2 in some way, like even if it's not like a direct conversion. So, you know, you can take some solace in that like we're here for our community, we're listening to our community and everything else. But yeah, the Token Smart stuff's really exciting because that allows us to be like right in the center of the community, engage with the community. It allows us to have a platform where we can promote our products when the time is right and necessary. And like Rizzle definitely does his job and shills like Avastars as regularly as he can. But I think it's cool too because there's projects on there that directly compete with some of our stuff that we do, that we have allowed to come on there and have presentations and things like that and opposing points of view. It's definitely like neutral territory and welcome for all, and not meant to be like gate kept in any way. It's meant to be a collaborative and fun environment. It's been a nice place to go during these downturns. I mean, the NFT community is amazing. The reason that I have gravitated and stayed here is just because of everybody that like I get to hang out with and know. So you know that's really the best part about Token Smart is like we're really able to like do cool things with the community.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's funny, people in the chat are talking about Vegas right now because this is the second stream in a row that everyone's like, when Vegas for yeah, we need Twisted Vacancy for Vegas.
I think it's definitely going to be
where did this
Vegas.
start?
Yeah.
Where did this start? Why Vegas?
Well, I've actually met Alan in Vegas before. Him and
Okay.
I have hung out at the pinball museum.
Cool.
So, and Jordan Poopy is from Vegas as well.
Got it.
Vegas is a fun place to party and gamble, and most of us are degenerate gamblers in one form or another. Like we call ourselves degens.
Okay.
Right. Well, I mean, like if you're an NFT degen, then you're like somewhat of a gambler because you're gambling on NFTs. They're going to be like something valuable potentially in the future. People collect for different reasons, but some people are collecting because they want to like gain value. And some of us are even like actual degenerate gamblers. I won't call like the individuals out, but they're actually.
Yeah, don't do that.
So Vegas just comes up, right? Vegas comes up. Like Vegas is a really great meeting point. It's a great place to have conferences. There's international flights that come into it. You can get flights from pretty much anywhere in the nation. And I've actually thrown conferences in Vegas before on a smaller scale than this, but I definitely we could pull off no problem. So I'd really like to do a regional conference where we do one in like London, or somewhere in Europe, one on like the east coast of US, one on the west coast of US, and then one over in Asia. But I don't know what it'll look like by the time we have if we have just one conference, it will probably be something like Vegas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
No, that's awesome.
Vegas.
Matt Kane said being an artist.
Virtual Vegas in the meantime, though.
Yeah. Matt Kane said being an artist is the ultimate gamble, Josie. Yes, but I'm gambling on myself, which I feel comfortable with.
Yeah, it's like a
versus
skill-based
gambling on
It's like
gambling
playing
my
poker or darts.
life assets and net worth away.
Yes,
that stresses
like
me out. But yes, yeah, Vegas would be. It sounds maybe tempting for some people that probably shouldn't be gambling.
I think that it like when this shit clears up and we're all able to get together wherever it is, Vegas or wherever, like that's gonna be fucking awesome because we all know each other like really well, and we're just gonna get to know each other better through this period of time, and it's gonna just be fun.
Yeah, and good. I will say that good conferences, which not all are good, but good conferences are totally underrated. Because I know you did not like NFT NYC, or at least you said you didn't.
I didn't like the conference. I really liked the people.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I guess maybe it's a little bit different for me because every conference I go to, I'm exhibiting. I'm not necessarily attending the conference, so it's always a great experience that I get to meet everyone. But that's like you go to the conference for the in-person like
you shouldn't even have to work
networking.
the whole time either though. Like you should have just had your moment in the spotlight, and everybody should have wanted to listen to what you were saying for that period of time, and then that should have been it, and you should be able to enjoy the rest of it. Like it's not just about
it's different. It's totally different for someone who is exhibiting their work, because for me it's not just about talking and letting people listen. I truly, at my conferences, I've gotten to know my collectors so well, and it's the time that I meet them face to face, and it's like so much more than just speaking on a stage, you know?
Yeah, but like, should you like need to be glued to your like exhibits, like your little area the whole time? Shouldn't it be like, because like you're gonna meet just as many people if you're like mingling in a normal way.
It's different. I'm also really, I mean, some of you guys know this. I'm like so psycho about my brand. I don't know a better word to say it, but I'm
we all
very
You're obsessed,
protective over it.
Yes,
so yeah, I want to.
It's very great. It's like
I want to be at my booth, like telling you every single thing and like showing you the AR and giving you the entire experience. I'm like stressed when I'm not there. I'm like, someone's walking by and they're not getting the full experience. You know what I mean? Like when I'm at a bathroom break, I'm like, I need to get back there. But that's like totally my jam, you know? So it's different.
But you definitely are in your element. You definitely are. I'm just feeling guilty right now that you're not able to enjoy the conferences the same way others are. Yeah. I just think that like the conference content itself could be like superior to what we've seen. I've been to good conferences before. I know what they can look like, and you know, I want to deliver a quality product whenever there's an opportunity to do that.
Totally.
And
no, I think
like
it'll be fun.
honestly, like with people like Matt, like from Scent and Rizzle and Easy and Drago and all those guys, like even when we end up doing a real conference, like I feel so much more confident that we will be able to deliver something excellent. And we all know what's going on. And, you know, if we just take like the people that you've had on over the last couple months, like, can you imagine, like, you guys, I'm sure, can imagine Josie hosting this as a conference and doing this over the course of 2 days instead of 2 months, right? Like, that would be even that would have been a really good conference because it's like all relevant and good stuff. And it's not like these real, like, I mean, there's just a lot of like opportunity to like hit the nail on the head. Like a lot of us may know about a few of these projects that you had on, but I didn't know about all of your guests and all of the stuff that was on. So I learned something, and I got to reinforce some of the stuff I already knew. And that should be the idea, right? You should be able to learn some new things. You should be able to learn some skills. You should definitely walk away with some of an education, but also like you should also walk away feeling like you knew something. Like if you already were in the community and everything else, right. Like you should feel like the time that you've put in has been rewarding because like, hey, I knew what they were talking about on stage, and it wasn't boring to me. Like it was cool to hear their perspective on that too. Yeah. So like I think there's a way to craft like content in the conference so that it's like successful and engaging and not like and still like focuses on the network too. Like it should all be about connecting people, right? Like anybody on stage should be accessible to anybody in the conference.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something that you kind of have like a track record of. If you're like, I don't think they're necessarily doing it the best way possible, I think I could make something better. Okay, I'm gonna figure out how to make something better, which is interesting. And I think it's it's a little crazy, but it's kind of cool. So why not? And right now is totally the time of experimentation and just like
It was the only way
going
I was
for
going to
it.
break into this, right? Like I
Yeah.
wasn't going to break into this any other way, and probably other people aren't going to have opportunities to break into it at this point in any other way either. Like they're going to have to take an opportunity that no one else is working on yet and just go after that. And in some cases, it'll be easier. It'll be something that everybody's talking about, but that nobody's done. In my case, with the initial project we went after with Avastars was on-chain art, and in that case, like not really many people were talking about it. Very few people were talking about it, and most people thought it wasn't even a good idea. So that one was a little harder to like to take the leap there, but I think in the long run it's going to work out pretty well.
Yeah.
So I'm
Totally.
excited
Cool.
about like, owning NFTs
Okay,
again.
I'm gonna ask you my wrap up questions, and I'll see if I can put one of my
I mean,
new
damn it, Josie,
baby.
we talked about the time length, and here it is. It's been like over 90 minutes now. I would have
Oh, no,
liked
no,
to.
no. There's no rule, but I feel like we were coming to a close, and I want to ask you these questions because I also kind of want to see if I can get one of my kitties on camera. We'll see.
Oh yeah, which
We'll
one are you
see.
gonna get?
I I don't know. So it's funny because crypto is their personalities are totally different, and like I said, I've had them for like a little bit over 48 hours, and they are sisters. They're from the same litter. They look very different. And Kitty is like anyone walks through the door and Kitty runs up to see who it is, and she's jumping all around and she's super friendly and she lets everyone pet her. She's also crazy and like playing with toys and spinning around the table nonstop. And then Crypto is totally more like reserved, like in under the chair, like peeking out to see who's there and kind of a little bit more shy. But it's kind of fun because like Kitty makes her come out to play. She's like, I'm gonna wrestle you and you're gonna play with me, and they get so much energy out together, which is cute. But I might bring Kitty in here since she's a spaz and she might be kind of fun to show. But I'm gonna
He's talking to me right now.
aw, sweetie. What is your dog's name?
Tweety. It's not Tweety. It's Willie.
Willie.
Yeah, it's Willie.
Willie. It's cute.
William Wallace. I named him after One-Eyed Willie from the Goonies because he has a pirate patch on one of his eyes.
Aw.
You
Oh,
ever
he
see his
looks.
pirate patch?
Oh, I see it. He looks so just like a big friendly dog.
Oh, he is. He's a big teddy
What kind
bear.
of dog is
He's
he?
an Old English sheepdog.
Okay. He's sweet. He's really
Hmm.
sweet. God, I love animals. I'm so happy to have like my own two right now. I couldn't be more tired and exhausted but happy the past 2 days.
I know
Um,
exactly what you mean. It is exhausting being an animal owner sometimes, but then like the rewards from having them and like getting their unconditional love and affection. I was actually like 30 minutes before we got on here, before you get to your wrap up questions. I was
oh
laying
yeah.
down like next to him and like I was just like petting him, and we went rollerblading twice today, so he was like pretty beat. He was like knocked out, and I was just sitting there like petting my like teddy bear fur dog, and like he's just sitting there like being so affectionate. I just, I don't know. I feel like the luckiest guy in the world when like with those moments. I love
Totally.
animals too.
Totally. No, it's so funny because I grew up with cats and I've wanted a cat for so long, and then I was like, well, I can't just have one, I need two. And then it like changes your
No, that
life.
was good. That's good for their mental health too.
Oh,
To have
totally.
two cats,
I
right?
don't
Like
want them
it's
to
just
have
good
like
for them.
separation anxiety or anything.
Yeah, don't get them declawed either, no
Oh,
matter what.
I would never. That's amputation.
Okay,
They
good.
literally take. For anyone who wants to get their cat or is thinking about getting their cat declawed, just to let you
Just
know,
don't get a
it
cat.
literally imagine the first part of your finger just being completely chopped off. I know I'm passionate about this, but don't ever get your cat declawed ever. Okay,
No,
it's
don't do it.
amputation of all of the tips of their fingers.
And you can teach them to like not scratch your shit up too.
Oh yeah. You catify your
Sometimes
house,
it takes a
get
couple
scratching
years.
posts, get all of the
Yeah,
good stuff.
yeah. Just work with
Okay,
them.
Bitcoin or Ethereum? We already know your answer, but
Ethereum.
okay. Go back 1 year or forward 1 year?
I'm here.
I wasn't talking to you, Siri.
That was so creepy.
I wasn't talking to you, Siri.
You don't know what I mean by that? I mean, I'm not talking to you.
That was so creepy.
God, Siri, why do you have to ruin things for me?
I was just so confused. I was like, did he plan that? Like, I'm here. It's like, wait, what? Okay, go back when you're
No.
bored 1 year.
I think Siri was right.
You want to be in the
I think,
now?
yep. I want to be right here right now.
All right. So neither.
We got work to do.
Last NFT or physical art piece that you purchased?
I want to lay down two that I've recently purchased.
Okay.
One would be that Hackatao that I mentioned. It's the Mother Earth. It wasn't named Mother Earth, but from the Cadiff Festival. That one was a custom contract that we did, Infinity did for both Hackatao and for Giant Swan for the Breezy Art, Eleonora's gallery that she just displayed at Cadiff Festival or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I've mentioned how that's and then I degen pretty hard on Top Shot packs today. I don't know if I was actually supposed to say that. Luckily there's only 19 people.
You already said it earlier in the chat, so
if you want an invite to Top Shot, I think I have like 3 or 5 left. So hit me up in Discord DMs and I can yeah, I pulled like a few number ones, the first mints and a couple different cards from that. And I just got like a jersey number James Harden base set, which is like number 13. That's his jersey number. I got the 13th card. So that's pretty sick as well. So I definitely like bought way too much Top Shot shit, and that's what I've been degenerating on recently.
Sometimes that happens. Morning person or night owl? Both.
I would
such a night owl that you
probably go to sleep
morning.
like earlier than I wake up earlier than I go to sleep. But like I wake up by like 6 a.m. every morning, and then some nights I'm up until like midnight or later. I'm more productive in the mornings, but I have more fun in the evenings.
Yeah, that I'd say you're a morning person then.
I become more distracted as like the day goes on, and like after like 5 or 6, like I've worked from home for a long time, but like I won't touch a beer until like after 5, and like usually like after 6 or 7. So like, you know, as the day goes on, like the looser I become, the less focused I become, the less I care about getting work done. Like morning time is like get shit done.
Yeah, it's weird. Your voice keeps like randomly speeding up, and it sounds like Siri like took over you for a moment or something. But I know it's just my internet connection. Cats or dogs?
You can't keep up.
Sorry,
Both.
my internet connection's being weird. Both? Okay.
I mean, the situational, like, and birds too, for that matter. Cats, dogs, and birds.
All right, adding another. Decentraland, cryptovoxels, or Somnium Space?
CV.
Cryptovoxels. Okay, cool. Sorry if I'm a little delayed. My computer's being weird. Or yours, but I think it's mine. Window or aisle seat?
Window. So you go low for the flight. You want to slow down on the liquids that you're taking in, and then you can go ahead and make sure that the last thing you do before you board the plane is go to the bathroom. And then you want to make sure that you take either like an additional sweatshirt, or don't take one of those neck pillows, stupid things, just like a sweatshirt or something like that. And then ball that shit up and lay up against the fuselage. And then you also have control over the window. No one else gets to tell you what to do with that window. That is your window. You paid for that seat. You got assigned to that seat. You decide if that's up or down, and you can tell them to fuck right off. If they tell you to put that window up, you can tell them next time to make sure that they get the aisle seats or the window seats so that they can understand. And then just like, you know, you lay in for the long haul, man. Like you just make sure that you like get like sleep deprivation and stuff before you go on that plane. Do whatever it takes to make you tired. Like if you're someplace where it's legal to smoke marijuana, make sure you smoke marijuana before you go through security, not after. Before you go through security, don't take weed on the flight. Although I hear people do that, it's no big deal, but like I don't. But if you like get high before you go on the flight, then you can fall asleep before you ever take off, and then you're just like asleep, and then you just wake up and like, you know, you're there.
All right. You gave the longest explanation of anyone ever for that question, but that is,
I
thank you
have
for
that
the
talent.
step-by-step guide. Um,
Window.
that is so funny. Yeah, sleep tight or enjoy the view. Someone in the past or present in crypto that you'd like to meet.
I'd like to have an opportunity to speak to Vitalik. I did get a picture with him in East
Oh
Denver.
yeah, I saw that. That was
Yeah,
a fun
but
one.
otherwise, I'm getting an opportunity to meet all the people I want to. That's one of the amazing things about crypto art.
Yeah. Favorite food?
French.
Okay, just the whole French cuisine.
I think that the French do food the best. Like they definitely have like a handle on food, and they have a very like refined and developed technique for creating food. And I think that the best foods around the world like are French influenced. So if I had to pick one food that I like would have to go with overall, it would just be French. I like pretty much all food. Like
Same.
I like non-peasant food, I should say. Like I'm all right with root vegetables and things like that, but like I'm not really good with like liver and tripe and things like that. But like pretty much everything else, like I'm pretty exploratory on most things.
So no foie gras. I can never say it for you.
I don't like foie gras. No, I won't go for
Okay.
that. Like I just have an ethical, moral like problem with like intentionally making these geese like overeat in order to like inflame their liver just so that we can like cut it up and eat it. I don't eat liver anyways. But on top of that, like I'm against foie gras because I believe it's cruelty to animals.
Yeah, they do it. I don't know if they still do, but like I heard they like walk on coals or something fucked up. But it's a delicacy there, and um, yeah, it's. I used to actually date a boy from Paris, and I remember, and I don't like foie gras, and and he had a ton of different families. His parents were divorced, so like we would go to all these different houses, and they would all serve me foie gras because it's a
It's probably
delicacy.
delicious.
It's
It's probably
very
delicious too.
well.
I
No, I
like
would eat it every
scrapple. Do you know
time,
what
and I
scrapple is?
did not like it.
You know what
No,
scrapple is?
no.
Scrapple's like when they like cut up the pig and like everything that's left over that's fallen on the floor and that they didn't use to like make a product.
Put it
They
in a
like
stew or
put it all
something.
together and throw it through a grinder again.
Mm.
And then they throw a bunch of seasoning and spices in it and shit. And then they make that into a block. And then that's like a breakfast meat, like sausage.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, no, I've had some
I
definitely.
love me some scrapple, and I
Oh,
hate
you
everything
love
that's
it.
in it. I love scrapple. That's like
Huh.
the one thing I like that I shouldn't like that I do.
Interesting. Yeah, I ate some weird things in Paris, but the food was delicious, and I
Yeah, my
love
family's like
culture.
West Virginia
So.
family, so I have some exposure to some interesting stuff. Some stuff I don't like fucking pickled pig's feet and shit like that. That my dad would just like sit there and suck on a pig's foot. And I'm like, what the hell, man?
With a cherry beer. Would you?
Moonshine, not
Okay,
cherry
okay.
beer. We weren't that fancy back then.
Okay. Would you want to live forever?
Would I want to live forever?
Mm-hmm.
When I was like when I was like 4 or 5, I made my mom pray to God that I would never die. Like this is like I realized that like
so
we all
sad.
die when I was like so young. Yeah, and I like made her pray to God that I would never die.
That's really sad.
I
in
no
a
longer
weird way.
believe in God. I mean, and I'm not sad about that, but like I just think this is like we have one life. And I think that like that's not an easy thing to answer because I do think that like I don't know that our minds were made to live forever, and like I think that if like we weren't all if my family couldn't live forever with me, I'm not sure I would want to live forever.
Sure.
So that would be one like
We get
pretext,
that answer often.
right? And then like I think I would want to be able to have the option to not be alive forever. Like I wouldn't want to be shot out into space in a beam of light, which is like one thing that's like been discussed for like the idea of eternal life is like in technology that like could shoot out our being in like space forever, and we could maybe travel like close to the speed of light, and like that way like when we die or like cease to be in our bodies anymore, we can become explorers and maybe like even find ways to communicate back and send information back into humanity, right? But like I have been level 5 on psychedelic drugs before, where I've been alone in space and not been able to like communicate with anybody, and just felt like the vastness of nothing and being nowhere. And like I don't want to live forever if that's what that's like.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want to be alone. So like
Yeah,
maybe
I guess you're saying it depends on the circumstances and like if everything else aligns. You have your loved ones, you have health, you have, all of that.
yeah.
See, I
But
guess
I
when
also
I
feel
think,
like life's precious, right? Like and like
yeah,
living forever is like kind of a strange thing that I don't think we're ready for like social media and the information age, let alone like trying to live for like several hundred years and everything else. I think it would be cool as fucking shit. And if we have the opportunity to do it, like absolutely, I will do it. I would work to make however many billions of dollars I had to make to have the opportunity to potentially live forever. If there was a high quality of life in living forever in a real
mm-hmm.
or virtual world or environment. Um, but I don't like I, if this is my one life, then I'm just going to try to do the best I can with what I've got here.
All right,
I'd
that's
love to
fair.
live forever, I guess, if I had control over like that.
The circumstances, yeah. Yeah, when I think about living forever, like I'm also kind of thinking, okay, when I think about the question, I'm thinking, okay, if I have the opportunity to live forever, I'm assuming that hopefully, some people around me also have that option as well. Like if you could live forever with your loved ones and in health, um, I totally
But
would.
what if like you like so what if you like worked your ass off to make enough money to like have all your friends and family like be able to live forever? And then what if like a couple hundred years into it, like everybody fucking hated you because they lived forever and like they just like became like what if you hated everybody that you like that's the thing is that like we are
Then
like
you meet new people. You go
would
into the
you like I
virtual.
don't know like what
I
if
don't know.
like
I think our society has also, just think about this though too. Our society has made death a really important part of a person's life cycle and has made it seem like, there's beauty in death. Death is a part of life, and you know what I mean? Like there's all of these things that like make us feel better about it. Our soul goes to heaven for people who do believe in religious stuff, or wherever the F your soul goes, I don't know. But
I
like,
wish that was the case. I mean, if you believe
yeah,
that,
there's
then you already
some.
believe like eternal life and that all these things are true. Like,
Right,
there's no
right.
reason for you to continue to live your life on earth because
Yeah.
this is the precursor to like a much better thing that's going to happen in heaven. Like, I unfortunately don't believe in the magic fairy man in the sky that's like has this magical land that we're all going to go hang out in. Like, I'm sorry. I hope I'm wrong. Like
The
that's
magical
there's
ferryman could be in virtual, just saying that. Like, we could live in
that
virtual
seems way
forever.
more real to me and plausible that like potentially maybe when I'm like in my 80s or 90s, if I live that long, that like maybe there is a way to upload our consciousness into a virtual world and then like have that sort of like digital version of eternal life, like or like the movie Chappie. Like I've definitely thought about this probably more than some people, like probably not more than everybody, but like I think it's kind of cool. But like I also like have paid attention to the lessons that I think they're trying to teach in these movies and books and things like that, and that like I don't think eternal life is necessarily like the best thing. The most recent version of Dracula on BBC was amazing, by the way. For anybody who hasn't seen that, it's a 3-episode series. I think Netflix even is carrying it now in the US. Really tackles this question, I think, in a beautiful way. And it was just an amazing series overall. I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think a lot of the general consensus, at least that from this show and what I asked people, so I guess the 21 guests, is that maybe they'd live, and this was definitely not for everyone, but they'd live a lot longer if they could, but not forever. So if you could live a lot longer in health, of course, but
I want to be able to like still
forever.
be active and stuff like that, right? Like, if I can't like be active in virtual or real world, like if I can't feel the idea of being active, then I don't know how interesting life would be.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, last question, and then I'll see if I can grab Kitty. Describe the NFT space with 3 words.
I have 2. Hold on, let me come up with the 3rd one.
Okay.
Community innovating the metaverse.
Okay. And someone, Matt Kane said, infinity.
Infinity, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like that our community is ideating, whatever. We're basically like innovating and creating like the foundational parts of the metaverse. So like community, innovation,
I hope so.
metaverse.
Yeah, yeah. Um, no, that's a great answer. That was, yeah, no, I agree. And it's exciting. Like I said, right now is a time to innovate and do weird, crazy stuff and just see what you can do with it and kind of push the boundaries. So
Yeah, and we've got all the creativity that we could ask for in the amazing artists that are taking part in this grand experiment that we're doing, and we have cool people helping build the metaverse experience through these communities and everything else. Like, I'm just excited to take part in it. Like, bring this full circle, and I know we're hitting on 2 hours, and it's been a long time. You should go grab your cat, maybe.
while you talk to everyone else.
Yeah, well, I tell everybody else, no, but bringing it full circle, it took me several years, and I had given up, and I hit the trail because I just didn't have anything else left. I'd like looked everywhere and just couldn't find that inspiration and that thing that I felt like I could dive back into. Because I spent 7 years working on G Suite and Google Apps. It was called Google Apps at the time, Gmail and things like that. And I was obsessed with that shit, and I loved it, and I dove into it, and I understood it at a level that most people didn't. And I just didn't think I was going to find it. I was pretty depressed, and I didn't have like all of the best things going on in my life. And finding the NFT community, the CryptoKitties community, and then learning about like this new, cool, innovative, like technology, like blockchain's really cool, and like I learned about altcoins and everything else, and those are really cool. But then NFTs like really spoke to me in a way that like nothing has since I came across Google Apps, and like NFTs spoke to me in a greater way than that. So like when I found CryptoKitties and I realized what it was, at least to me, what I thought an NFT was, and what I've now willed into existence with Avastars, like that to me is like something that like I knew I could spend the next like decade working on, and that I'd found my home for my mind for the next like several years. And like the people that I've had the opportunity to meet, like I knew two years ago when I was interacting, over 2 years ago when I was interacting with people initially on the CryptoKitties Discord, that these were going to be people that I would know for the next like 5 to 10 years, and that like we would get to grow through this experience together. And here we are, in my case, a little bit over 2 years into this, a little bit over a year into my journey with Avastars, and just beginning this journey with many of you who I haven't known for very long. And I know that we're all going to know each other for the next couple of years. And like in the end, when this is all over, like that's what the coolest part of all of this will be that like when Josie and I had this conversation tonight, like looking back on that time and like thinking about how naive we were and how like we didn't know anything compared to what we know 6 or 7 years from now. And like it's going to be old hat, and like we can't believe like that we were even like excited about these like crazy little things like that. To me, like that's going to be the reward in all of this. And that's what I look forward to. But I also like want to be in the present and enjoy these moments so that we have those to look back on.
Yeah, totally. And just, I mean, I completely agree with everything you just said. And it's also, I mean, thank you, and I appreciate you coming on here just to talk a little bit about what you've been doing. But it is such an amazing thing that you are just creating the community and world that you like want to live in. Like, you want NFTs on chain, you're going to make NFTs on chain. You want, this community that can grow into something, even into like as simple as like having, not simple, but having an actual in real life conference. Like, you're going to make that happen. So I think that is something to be said, because there's a lot of people who want a lot of things. And we see that in Discord and on Twitter and all of this stuff, but not a lot of people who have even like the courage to go out and try to make those things happen. So thank you for doing that. That's something that's super exciting and definitely should be
Thank you
looked
too.
up to.
Yeah,
So
I think thank you to anybody who's doing the same thing, right? We have a lot of peers that are doing the same thing right now that deserve as much or more credit than you or I for doing the same things. Like, it does take courage, you're right, and just to do it and put yourself out there. And the community will support good ideas, and they'll help you make your ideas better. Your idea doesn't have to be amazing to start. Just come up with something and talk about it and figure out
Yeah.
something and figure out where you can contribute. Like, we all
Totally.
can work together and make and accelerate this to become better even faster by working together.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna grab Kitty really quick, and you can
Yep.
talk to everyone here for a second. And if you guys, I mean, this was episode 21 of season 1, which means I'm gonna have a break before I start season 2. If there's something you guys want me to change up or something you really want to see in season 1, let me know. If I might do a little episode in between season 2 of just if you guys, I don't know if people would be interested in an AMA if I did one of those and just answered a ton of questions or walked people through whatever they wanted to be walked through. But let me know if you guys have any ideas. Otherwise, I'm gonna get my kitty really quick, and I'll be right back. And hopefully she cooperates for this. We'll see. I've been keeping them in the front part of my place, like the living room, and closing off my bedroom just to get them used to one area before they go crazy. And I have so much art shit in here. I'm afraid to introduce her to this room, but we'll see. I'll be right back.
Hopefully she stays in your arms. Crypto Kitty. I love that she named her cats Crypto and Kitty. That's really cool. I want a bird, but I want birds other than just my chickens that are at my sister's. I want a parrot or a cockatoo or something, but I know that my cat would try to eat the bird, so I have to hang in there with my cat for another 1 to 10 years, depending on how long she decides to live. Yeah, now that Josie's gone, I don't know what to say. Flowy birds. I think if anything, flowy Avastars. I already got the thing. Here's the kitty. I'm looking forward to the next version of Kitty's on Flow. Poopy.
My doors are so creaky. I don't know if you guys heard that.
No, I don't think we did.
Here's Kitty. She's
Favorite
never
nature
been in
spot,
this room.
the Appalachian Trail. Oh.
She's she wants to check out this room. You can already tell she's just looking around wait, what is this room? I haven't been in here yet. I need to explore.
God,
Here, look at
kittens
the camera, Kitty.
melt my heart. They're the cutest thing ever. I would just let them bite me and scratch me forever.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart, and she loves everyone that comes in. She just wants to meet them and get pet by everyone. And right now I would bring them both in at the same time, but they got spayed literally 2 or 3 days ago, so I want to be careful of their bellies and hold them carefully. But yeah, this is Kitty. She's a sweetie. And then Crypto, her sister, has 4 white paws but is black, and they look different, but they're both adorable.
And they're sisters, right?
Yeah, they're sisters. They're from the same litter. She's
And how old are
okay,
they?
I want to play.
Are they 3 months?
They're 10 weeks.
10 weeks.
So just under 3 months. But yeah, I promised Kitty. Here's Kitty, and then I'm gonna put her back outside the room so she doesn't go crazy in this room. But she's a sweetie, and I won't make my Twitter feed full of cats, but I might post in my Discord once in a while some cute cat pictures, because they literally Crypto follows her around and does everything she does, but 10 minutes later. It's so funny. She's just Kitty is the person who sets the pace for them.
You need to get one of them a Bitcoin collar and one of them an Ethereum collar.
Yeah, that'd be fun. All right, I'm gonna go put her back outside the room, and then I'll come close with you guys. Say bye.
Yeah, so I think Trippy was asking me my favorite nature spot. It's a cop out to say the Appalachian Trail, but the Appalachian Trail, I got 750 miles done on that. I went from Georgia to the middle part of Virginia, and I felt at the time like I didn't need to walk another mile further.
I put Kitty down, and she was like, wait, I want to go back in that room. Let me back in. Don't hold me though.
Yeah, that's where all the cool people are.
Yeah.
But someone asked about my favorite nature spot, so I would love to actually return and try to hike the entire Appalachian Trail again sometime in the future. So whenever,
how long did that take you?
Well, I did. I'd spent way too much time in town fighting like stomach issues and stuff like that. But
Mm.
for 2.5 months, and I went about 750 miles. I should have been a little, maybe 1,000 miles in by that point. Probably would have stuck with it if I had made it further in that period of time. But I was happy to get off when I did. I had some other things in my life I needed to straighten out, and ended up straightening out after getting off the trail. So it was a really good segue into other things. But I would like to do the whole thing one day. There's something like amazing about being out in nature and homeless every day and walking like 15, 20 miles every day and just being
Sort
in
of gives
nature.
you a different perspective on a lot of things, I'm sure.
Really
You have nothing
does.
but your thoughts.
No computer. No, you have your phone. You have a lot of stuff. Like if you have the phone and the internet.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I did. I got caught in like a thought loop. That was part of the reason I got off, is because I would think about the exact same stuff day in and day out, and
Oh,
like
interesting.
it became kind of grinding. So
Huh.
yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I need to do some more. I have to admit, I'm not a super. I love nature, but I like haven't experienced it a lot in my life, being such a like city person, and growing up in the city and everything.
Mhm.
But I mean, when I am in nature, it's like totally a different experience, and I love it. But that would be nice to do something more nature focused. But
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for sticking around and for being so active in the chat per usual. I saw some new faces here today, which was really nice. So, thank you for coming on here. And thank you, of course, to everyone who comes on for all these streams. And I mean, I can, like, there's a couple of you that have probably been here for, if not 21 of the episodes, like, probably at least 18. So, thank you so much. You guys are just a huge part of the show, and I'm super excited to do season 2, but there will be a little break. I'm not exactly sure when season 2 will start, but I already have some people that I'm really excited to talk to when that does happen. But just stay tuned, and Jim, thank you so much for coming on here.
Thanks for having me on, Josie. It's a
Yeah.
real honor, especially to cap off the season.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it, and I'm sorry to everybody for talking so much.
Oh no, that's what this show is about. People who rewatch it on YouTube will just put us on like 1.5 speed.
Exactly. Just run through
It'll
it.
be perfect.
Skip the parts I don't want to hear.
Yeah, exactly. Well, sweet. Thank you. Oh, and if the person, I don't know if they're in this chat, but I know they'll be watching this after. There's a person on my YouTube channel that goes and like puts an outline of like times that I ask each question and does a whole freaking thing on my YouTube videos. Thank you. You rock. I should have written down your handle so I could remember what it was to shout you out, but you know who you are, and thank you.
And person who does that, make sure you do a shout out to the Avastars community at 2 hours and 7 minutes and 4 seconds into the stream.
Yes.
Big old shout out to the most amazing NFT community in existence, and that is the Avastar collectors. All of you are amazing. Huge shout out to Mode Rats, who has like 15% of all Avastars. Dude, you're a madman, and I love you. Anything I ever said about you outbidding me by a cent or anything on super rare stuff, like all is forgiven, man. I love you, dude.
All right, sounds good. Okay, well, we'll see you guys next time, and we'll see you in the Discords. And just reach out if you guys have any questions or ever want to chat, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.